Mark suffers with neuro pain, so he thinks his brain's telling him he's got this awful pain, itch, whatever you want to call it. And it used to keep us up at night. I used to have to be massaging cream into him and everything, just trying to get him to be able to sleep. When Mark had his stroke, I thought he would be up and moving around again in 2 weeks. Didn't understand it at all. So I've done a lot of reading up on strokes and things like that, which is really where we came to for getting the grounding sheet that we got and the mat. So it must have been 3-4 months it took me to make that decision. And the reason I made the decision is because I'd been reading up on it for so long and I'd heard gone really into detail on it. And I thought this is definitely, because some just do sleeping or they seem to concentrate on sleeping, whereas yours also said about the other things you did, which related to us more. And then when this offer, I thought, right, I've got to make a decision now. And I did it. I made the decision, but I have noticed, I think his sleeping when he actually goes to sleep is a lot better. And he's not moaning about the itching so much, because he used to get like a frenzied attack where he would just itch himself till he bleeds, dig into his skin. It's that bad. And we've not had any episodes of that. Anyone in pain, anyone struggling with sleep, as far as I'm concerned, is worth a chance. We used to be just a normal husband, partner, wife. And then 4.5 years ago, Mark, just after COVID, Mark had a stroke, which affected all his left side. So since then, I've been his full-time carer. He's at home after 6 months in hospital. I do a bit of work, as in a bit of cleaning and that now, just to make ends meet, because obviously we've had to go on to help out from the government. So for us, it's totally different. Even though we were quite reasonable before, it's obviously taken its toll on us. He used to be architectural drawings for extensions for houses and things like that. So he's finding it very hard because obviously he's not working, because he's mainly bedbound, and he can't do anything without assistance of some sort. Even though he's attempting to walk again, he still needs assistance. He can't just go off and walk on his own, sort of thing. It's very, very slow process, but we exercise and do all the things we should be doing every day. It's changed our lives totally overnight. I'd never heard of it, didn't have a clue what any of it was about, I'd never looked into it. I think the way I came across it was Facebook or one of these sites. It just popped up an advert one day, which is really where we came to for getting the grounding sheet that we got and the mat, because I was reading up. And of course this ad popped up and it said about sleep and everything, and then it said about the neuro pain that it can be known to help with, which is where I got from, because I'm always looking for things that will help us improve. That's really how I started. I then read up for a long time. I haven't just jumped into it because obviously, as you can understand, money's very tight for us. So for me to make a commitment to something like this, and we didn't know if it would work. So I did a lot of reading up, not only from your site, but from lots of other sites as well, and went through trying to understand what it did and if it was going to be beneficial, because obviously, as everybody knows, you read lots of things online, and when you get them, they don't do what they say they're going to do. So it must have been 3-4 months it took me to make that decision. And the reason I made the decision is because I'd been reading up on it for so long and I'd heard gone really into detail on it. And I thought this is definitely, because some just do sleeping or they seem to concentrate on sleeping, whereas yours also said about the other things you did, which related to us more. And I did it. I made the decision. For me, personally, sleep was a big issue. At the beginning, we were up 7 times a night at least, because obviously anything he needs, I have to get up. That has died down a bit, so most nights it's only a couple of times. But we do have nights where he's up all night. So sleeping was the biggest thing for me. We also went back because he was in a hospital bed. So I was sleeping on like a camp bed for 4 years. So we actually went back to a double bed. We got to a position where he could get in and out with help. So between that and the grounding sheet, obviously that was a big thing for sleeping. My other problem is I've got arthritis in my hands, which were getting to the point where when I woke up in the morning, bending them nearly killed me. I used to have to spend like 5 minutes just trying to get my fingers to move, which had come on in the last year. I'd had arthritis, but with all the hard work I'm doing with him, massaging and, just everyday work, I'd really been struggling with it. I'd been to the hospital and they really couldn't come up with anything apart from do some exercises and that. So that was really affecting me. And also, I think some of it was a bit sort of down. I wouldn't say depression. I don't, I probably have got depression, but I don't class it as depression. It's just some days I wake up and I feel a bit down sort of thing. So for me, there was lots of aches and pains through my body because I'm pushing and shoving him. And so he's a big man to move. So over the years, I think my body has just got sore, hurting. For Mark, obviously, I was concentrating on the sleep to see if we could get his sleep better, the pain and the nerve pain. So they are like the main things that we looked at, and all your information that I read didn't only do the sleep, they did these other things, or you'd had people that had said that they had improved over the time. So that's why we went with your company. The sleep has improved massively. Sometimes I get into bed because we've got it on all the time because obviously Mark's in bed quite a bit as well. I get into bed and by the time I've finished everything, it's normally about 10 o'clock and then I've been going to sleep. But unless Mark actually specifically wakes me up, I'm sleeping through till like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, which is unheard of for me. The other thing is if I get up to do something for Mark, whereas normally I would then been awake because I've had a couple of hours sleep and I can't get back to sleep. With this, I seem to lay down and I go back to sleep. So that's definitely a big improvement for me. And as I say, thinking about it today, the other thing is my hands. I was laid there and this morning and since Christmas, I suppose, probably about 2 weeks into using it, my hands aren't hurting. I've still got the lumps and the bumps and like everybody does, but they're not that where I was having to do it in the morning trying to get them to move. Now here it is cold at the moment, which normally affects it. So it's not that it's warm weather and it's got better on its own. So something's obviously, I'm not giving it 100% that it's only this, but I can move them without even thinking about it sort of thing. So that was a big thing. The other thing I suffer with my feet because of being on them all day, and I've got this, whatever they call it, I can't remember. And I'm in pain sometimes. I can't hardly walk on my feet. And I've noticed the last couple of weeks, even that has eased off. So I'm not sort of thinking, oh God, I've got to walk somewhere or my feet are hurting. I don't know if it's in the mind. I don't think so. But these are the things I've noticed. And yeah, I can honestly say, I think it's doing me good. It's doing something. With Mark, it's very hard to judge because obviously he can't feel his side. But I have noticed, I think his sleeping when he actually goes to sleep is a lot better. And he's not moaning about the itching so much because he used to get like a frenzied attack where he would just itch himself till he bleeds, dig into his skin. It's that bad. And we've not had any episodes of that. He's still itching, but it's not like that deep embedded sort of itch, if you know what I mean. So that one, obviously the jury's still out because with strokes anything can happen. But he certainly isn't any worse than he was before. And as I say, this where he literally has to scratch till he scratches blood and skin off has not happened in the last 3 weeks. But all I'm saying is that we've had it on the bed constantly on since we got it. I can see big changes on me. And obviously with him, it's hard to judge, but I know that he hasn't pulled his skin off his body to get to the itch sort of thing. So I think it was just naivety, really. I'd never heard of them. It just happened. So it shows you advertising. It just happened to pop up. And of course, I do look at things. There's been like quite a few things I've looked at to read because I'm always trying to find ways that we can help improve Mark's health. If it wasn't for him, I would have just said, oh no, don't bother sort of thing for me. But obviously now it's helping me as well. But I do think people need to read it and make sure that it's for them because obviously there's people. I know you publicise that you do so many different things for different ailments, but I'm also thinking that this could probably help with a lot of other ailments. As I say, I think the main thing is read up on it, make sure it's what you need. But I would say to anyone, give it a go because I cannot. The difference I've seen in myself in the last 3-4 weeks has made me feel so much better. So yeah, I think it's worth a shot, but you've got to go into it also with the right mindset as well, because if someone's really negative, their mind, and I know this from like Mark with his stroke and that, their minds can be so set that it's not going to work. But I would definitely invest in it, but read up, make sure that you go with the right company, because as I say, I'm not telling people to go with any company because I think they're all different. But from the experience I've had with your company, I am so happy that I chose you and I went with you, because it's just given me the confidence to look at other things as well now. So yeah, anyone in pain, anyone struggling with sleep, as far as I'm concerned, it's worth a chance.